So if you're going to a new job, your first day on the job, they're going to do something for you called orientation, where they're going to show you the ropes, they're going to show you the policies, they're going to basically show you what your expectations are for the job, right? We have the same thing in sales. We have something called the 4 C's of success, right? Specifically for final expense. You can use this for all businesses. I don't care if you're selling shoes or you're selling toothbrushes or you're selling water softeners or you're selling alarms. These are the 4 things that you have to have. You have to have a consistent weekly lead flow. Now, if you're just doing door-to-door sales, your leads are the doors, right? Otherwise, you're talking about final expense leads, direct mail leads, check leads, anything like that. You have to have a consistent weekly lead flow. Number 2, you need to have a consistent schedule. Number 3, you need to have a consistent presentation. And number 4, you need to have consistent communication. So for me to kind of break those down, number 1, the consistent weekly lead flow. Right? So you absolutely must have a consistent fresh lead order every single week, right? They may just be fresh to you, but fresh leads every single week. You stop the lead flow, you stop the income. Referrals are leads too, so ask for referrals in every home. Like, here's a good lead game plan that you can follow. We call it the 20-40-60 lead strategy. So you could either A, get 20 fresh leads a week. That's going to cost you $500 to $750 a week, 20 plus fresh leads, brand new leads per week. Number 2 is 40 leads a week where it's a mix. Maybe you're getting 5 or 10 fresh leads a week, and you're supplementing that with inventory leads to total at least 40 leads a week. So if you're getting 10 fresh leads a week, you're going to get another 30 gold leads off of inventory to equal 40. Or you can get 60 leads a week where they're just age. Maybe you're brand new and you're just getting started and you're waiting for your lead flow to get going. You need to be getting at least 60 of these bronze leads or 60 or more gold leads every single week. So it's 20 fresh, 40 where it's a mix, or 60 where they're aged. Okay, a good combination and a very realistic combination is the 40, right? The reason I say the 40 mix is the best combination is because say you're ordering 20 fresh leads a week and you only have 12 that come in, you can't just sit around and wait. Like, you got the 12, that's great. Now, I'm going to go ahead and buy an additional 28 of these leads, another 10 of these leads. So I have a total of 40 plus leads every single week that I can work. Some are mixed, some are fresh, some are a year old, some are 2 years old. Whatever it takes, make sure you have a consistent lead flow every single week, regardless of your business, right? If you're not working leads, okay, then you got to go out and pound the doors. Like I either say, you either invest in some nice Nikes and go pound the doors, or you invest in some leads and just show up to, warm leads, hot leads, a place where you have someone to start a conversation with. So now if you're trying to do this over the phone, just go ahead and triple all of those numbers, okay? A phone agent is going to need to spend $2,000 a week to get the same amount of production as an in-home sales agent spending $650 a week. Number 2 is a consistent schedule. I would say this is probably the top reason people fail in any sales environment. They just don't keep a consistent schedule. Even without leads, like, you can technically go out and work 12 hours a day just pounding doors, cold doors, no leads whatsoever, 7 days a week, and you can make a good living, but no one really wants to do that, right? So the job description when it comes to your schedule is to sit down with a minimum of 15 people every single week. So honestly, just do whatever it takes to accomplish that. I recommend working at least 3 late nights a week, right? Throw in some weekends there when you can't get a hold of some leads. Keep in mind that people are home after 5 p.m. So if you're just working 9 to 5 every day, you're missing a lot of presentations. But honestly, I shouldn't have to tell you your schedule. Like, you're a grown adult. You got your own bills. You got your own goals. So honestly, do whatever it takes to sit down with 50 people every single week. Now, as a guideline, I teach something called the 24/7K plan. That is basically a bare minimum of 20 lead door knocks per day or 4 presentations, whichever one comes first. Before you even consider going home, you should have 20 door knocks done or 4 presentations done. Now, knocking on 20 leads per day or sitting with 4 people per day should get you at least $7,000 of submitted premium per week. Now, keep in mind, if you're submitting 10 to 20 applications a week, you're going to need to spend about 20 or 30 minutes every evening doing follow-up or checking your book of business on the carrier websites. Number 3 is a consistent 10-step presentation. Make sure you're hitting all the 10 steps. Now, we've crafted this presentation over the last decade. It's laid out in a way that not only are you going to be able to get sales with it, but it educates the customer and it keeps the business on the books. So this is really where the good separate themselves from the bad. Like if you take two people that are getting the same amount of leads, they're working the same amount of hours, this is where you really separate. It's a little thing called practice. Like the good agents will literally practice their presentation for hours, like for days, for months. They're going to continue to practice and get reps on their presentation, whether it's live in front of a customer or even at home. Folks that struggle in the business, like they'll kind of practice it for a day or so, and then they'll just, they'll blame the leads or the customers or whatever. That's why they can't have any success. But practice until you can't make a mistake with your presentation. Now, every customer is different, right? So there's different needs, there's different personalities, but for the most part, your presentation should be a carbon copy from one house to the next. Your tone is the same at the same time, right? Your speed during this step slows down, okay? You sit back and relax during another step. Your body language is the same per step, right? You use the same jokes. You use the same one-liners, okay? You hit every single step in order. All right, number 4 is consistent communication. Communication is sneaky important. We don't feel we need it when it's actually what we need the most. So commit to your team conference calls, right? Don't be the cool guy. Call your coach daily for in-home sales support, okay? Do your in and up calls, commit to the regional boot camps, commit to going to your national conferences, get around the fire, right? At the same time, you must communicate with your coaches and your coworkers, like have a positive mental attitude. I get it that like problems happen, like relationship issues happen. You don't always bond perfectly with this person or that person. It's not always rainbows and puppies' breath. So I always tell people or urge people to use the 90-10 rule when it comes to communicating. So 90% of the conversation should be about a solution and only 10% about the actual problem that you're having. If you start walking away from conversations and think, was that more positive or negative? Like, what was the percentage? And you realize that it's mostly negative or it's a complaint session, like you're the problem, right? You sit here and complain about this, complain about that, like you end up being the problem. Focus all your energy when it comes to communication on what can we do to be solutions minded, to find a solution to this potential issue, move forward and get better from it. So those are the 4 things that you need to do, that you have to do. I always urge people throughout your career in Final Expense to go ahead and grade yourself on the 4 C's. From A, B, C, or D, how would you rate yourself on lead flow? If you're getting 20 plus fresh leads a week, that's an A. If you're getting at least 40 leads a week where it's a mix of fresh and aged leads, that's an A. If you're getting at least 60 leads a week where they're gold leads, that's an A. Now, if you're just getting 10 fresh leads a week, that's a D, right? You're failing. So that's something you need to work on. Next thing, your schedule. Okay, are you sitting with and talking to 15 people every single week? That's an A, right? If you're only sitting down with 7 people a week, that's a D, right? You're failing. And number 3, grade yourself on your presentation. Are you hitting the steps? Do you know the 10 steps? Are you going through each of them at the same time? Do you feel like you cannot miss a shot when you have an opportunity because you're hitting all the steps at all the right time? And number 4, when it comes to communication, you can grade yourself. Grade yourself based on, are you going from one company to another? Right? It's always someone else's fault. You're always late to meetings, or you're late to conference calls, or someone's offering you coaching through Zoom meetings or boot camps or whatever it is, and you don't really show up to them. You don't really want to call and ask for help, and you're just kind of being a lone wolf. Then that's a fail, right? So go through and grade yourself on the 4 C's, and whatever your lowest grade is, that's the thing you need to focus on getting better at.